Welcome to another meeting of TV Holics Anonymous. Welcome to another meeting of TV Holics Anonymous. My name is Ruru, and I am a TV holic. So again, Mimi's not here, but I just wanted to do a quick little recap of the last 3 episodes I've watched of Southern Charm. And before I do that, I just want to say it would be really, really helpful if you guys gave us 5 stars on whatever platform you're listening to this podcast on. And also, we're on social media. We're on YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, Blue Sky, and Instagram as well. You can listen to the podcast on YouTube as well. So yeah, just subscribe to the podcast on whatever you want to listen to us on, and also follow us on social media as well. So with that said, I'm just going to get on with the recap. So today I am doing not a recap, kind of recap and like my thoughts and stuff on the situation. Mimi's not here, like I said. It's because she's not able to like not broadcast. We're not broadcasting. Record the pod. She's a bit busy right now, so she will be back, but I'm kind of holding down the fort for now. So yeah, let's get on with it. So it's Southern Charm season 11, episodes 8, 9, and 10. So what I just wanted to say is that the episode 8, let's just go through episode by episode. So episode 8 is titled Engaged in Battle. And basically this is like, it's like a play on words because, you know, there's like a fight going on and between a few of the cast members, and also Rodrigo and Tyler got engaged, so it's their engagement party. So Rodrigo and Tyler's like party is like what the episode is centered around, engagement party. And the episode like basically so Rodrigo is throwing this like amazing like engagement party for his fiance Tyler, and the event is basically, you know, dominated by the, you know, the kind of like friendship that is like falling apart between Austin and Craig. Surprise, surprise, we know that this is the storyline since last season. They've been like falling apart on and off for a really long time now. I just had to have a sip of my water because like I'm losing my voice. And so they've been falling apart for quite some time now, and basically it's like this kind of like crazy fight at the previous dinner that Austin and Craig had, and where Austin basically told Craig that he hated him. And then basically other stuff that happened is that Austin and Audrey's like the build up of their split, because we know they're going to split up eventually because it's Austin. Like, come on, like everyone knows that this is just like PR that he's doing for his image, because he looked really, really terrible the last few seasons of Southern Charm, and he just treats women like crap. He treats most people like crap. He thinks that he has some kind of like privilege and that he's better than everyone else. So he treats people like crap and like they're disposable. So he's just been cleaning up his image by having a steady girlfriend for as long as he can. We all knew that he wasn't going to marry her. We all knew that he wasn't even going to move in with her or anything like that. But, you know, it is what it is. So yeah, Austin and Audrey, it's like a build up to their split in this episode. So throughout the party, everyone is discussing how Austin is treating his girlfriend Audrey, because he's kind of like ignoring her. And despite the fact that he said that she's like the perfect girlfriend, Austin is like acting like all distant, and everyone at the party, as in the cast of the show, noticed that the relationship is kind of like, you know, fizzing out basically. And then there's also like they have the engagement party, and then they like move on to like the second location, which is the party bus that I believe Craig paid for, but I doubt not Craig, Shep paid for, I think. But I doubt that he did, because he's notoriously cheap, and I don't think he'd fork out money for a party bus if he can't even fork out money for a decent like engagement present or a decent Madison's baby shower present. So I doubt that he'd, fork out money for this, for the party bus. So yeah, so the whole cast get into the party bus, and the party continues on the bus with like, everyone's like people that were already in like a fight. Their kind of like tensions were like escalating, and Sally and Craig like kind of like have a situation, and Austin's like relationship is kind of like talked about a lot in this not relationship, in this episode. And then Sally basically is like acting like intense, and like she has a lot of messy behavior in this episode. And she basically says that she would rather go after Austin if he became single. That's what, like, keep doing flashbacks to that bit when she's talking to, I believe, who was in the room with her? It was at Sally's house, and she was with Rodrigo, I think, was there, and also I think Molly was there as well. So yeah, Austin, yeah, so yeah, if he became like single, and she's like basically talking about this while she's like trying to actively go after Craig. So that's what they just keep like rolling back that tape of like rolling back the tape to show everyone, meaning Bravo viewers, Sally's like desperateness in that situation. And then Shep basically finds like himself in the middle of like this feud, and he's like warning others about like the intensity of the fight. And um he's like, no, he notes that like things feel like deeper than they are, kind of thing. So let's just move on to episode 9. But I just want to say, like, throughout these 3 episodes, I feel like Sally is extremely desperate, and I don't understand. I understand there's like a weird ratio in not Charlotte, South Carolina, in, oh, I keep wanting to say Savannah, but I know it's not Savannah, in Charleston, North Carolina, South Carolina. In Charleston, there's a weird kind of like dynamic. There's more women than there is men. So men have their kind of like pick of the women. So yeah, that's a situation all in itself. Okay, so let's just talk about episode 9. This episode was called Best Frenemies Forever. I love the way that Bravo titles these things. They put a lot of effort into making the titles kind of like fun and catchy, or like kind of like merge words together and stuff like that. It's interesting. So anyway, so Craig and Charlie's like date was like one of the big things that happened in this episode. And like, despite all the drama and stuff, they actually like went through with the date. And Craig and basically Charlie, they went on their first date, and this was to like an oyster place. They were like, I think it was like oysters or something they were cutting open. It was Craig's friend's place, business. So that's where he took her, because he remembered that she loves oysters. She said it once, and he wanted to do something that's like special for her, something that she'd like. And I just remember they both had to wear like Wellington boots, and like they had to go find their oysters or something like that. It just looked a bit all weird to me. And then there is, like, in this episode, the Sally, Charlie, Craig like love triangle. situation still going on, and Sally expresses jealousy, which causes friction with like Charlie in this episode. And other cast members like talk about like how like Sally has like taken on um like the role of like being Craig's like number one hater because he like kind of rejected her. And this is like kind of like we kind of remember like that Vanita was like Craig's number one hater because Craig said that he's never going to be friends with someone like Vanita again because Vanita stood up for Charlie. Not Charlie, for I'm getting confused. There's so many women on the cast now. For Paige, because we know the whole Paige and Craig Conover breakup situation. So anyway, and then Craig wasn't talking to Vanita because Vanita said some nice things about Paige, and Paige, the whole cast was told by Craig, like, you either like don't be friends with Paige and hate her like I do, or I'm gonna hate you forever and never talk to you again. You know, he had his one of his like little boy tantrums. So yeah, then Madison, in this episode, let's talk about Madison because we haven't talked about her at all yet. So Madison basically, she like acting like the matriarch of the show now, which is kind of strange because maybe it's the whole pregnancy and stuff like that. And she's basically advising Vanita to like kind of like fix the friendship with her and Sally, and kind of saying that this whole like fight between Sally and Vanita is kind of like childish, and trying to advise her to like sort it out because you'll regret it if you don't. And then like the conflict, basically there's a lot of conflict, and it kind of everything escalates at a dinner that takes place with Craig, where Craig and I believe this is whose birthday is it? Oh, Austin's birthday. So it's Austin's birthday, and they go to a steakhouse, and I think it's Craig, Austin, and Smithers. What's his name? Whitney Smithers. Who reminds me of Smithers from the show The Simpsons. And then there's also Craig. Yeah, so Craig, Whitney, Austin, and also who else was there? Shep. That's the one that I was trying to remember. So Craig, Whitney, Austin, and Shep, and basically the conflict kind of like there was already conflict because Austin already knew coming in that Craig had said something to Sally about him, and it all popped off at this dinner, basically on Austin's birthday dinner. So at the dinner, Craig's behavior is like described as like really intense, and like basically they're saying that he's being like horrible, and he's basically in like they accuse him of acting like a snake, and like deflecting from his own problems and attacking others. So that's like the situation. So they're trying to say that he's because that's exactly what he's doing. He's like lying a lot. Like Craig's up to his old tricks, and he's just not listening to not listening, but he's just making things up and trying to spin the narrative in his not order, in his favor. So yeah. And then episode 10 is the latest one, and that is when the farm, it's like that everyone goes to the farm. So it's Whitner's family farm. So they go on this like little travel getaway vacation, and the name of the farm is really funny. It's called Itchy Grass Farm, and it's just like an overnight kind of trip. And at this point, Madison is extremely pregnant, and I can't believe she actually went on this cast trip because it looks like it's bang smack in the middle of nowhere, and she could have like given birth at any point during this cast trip. Luckily, she didn't, but she could have given birth at any second. And so yeah, so what happens at this like whole with this whole situation? They all like pair up and get into cars, and they all like travel there like differently. So Austin is with, I think he's with Venita and Rodrigo in one car, and then there is Craig, Conover, and some other people. I just want to mention that Austin's car was disgusting. Like Venita like picked out old socks and other nasty bits and pieces, and yeah, it was gross. And then there is also, like I said, Craig's car. I forgot who was in there. I think Whitner and Shep. Yeah, Whitner and Shep are in that car. Then Madison came by herself as well. And I was just thinking, couldn't anyone have gone with Madison or driven her there? Because it seems like all a bit risky to me because she's like due to pop any day. And then the girls all came together. So it's like Molly, Sally, and um who's the other girl? Molly, Sally, and oh, Charlie. So yeah, they rang Austin's car, and he kind of let it slip to Rodrigo and Venita that he'd broken up with Aubrey the night before. And then when they were on the phone to the girls' car, to Charlie and Molly and Sally, he kind of let it slip again. And I think this was it wasn't a Freudian slip, it was on purpose because he wanted Sally to know that he's available. Because he knew that she'd go after him, and that's what he wanted, to be a slut again. He wanted to be like slutty, and his whole like PR campaign for his image is like done with in his mind, and he just wants to do whatever he wants to do. Another thing in this episode, and Sally was so excited, like she really looked like she was like a dog in heat or something. She just looked crazy. Another thing that I found really disgusting was Austin peed in the pool. And then later on, when I watched the the not behind the scenes, uh that show that they do after, after show, yeah, the after show, uh Shep told Whitner that Austin peed in his parents' pool. And I think that's so disrespectful and horrific. And Austin was just saying, oh, they can just add more chlorine or whatever. And then Whitner basically was so like gobsmacked by the fact that, Austin peed in his parents' pool. And then he said, it's not a chlorine pool, it's a salt water pool. That means there's no chlorine, there's nothing to clean the water. And he just sat there and peed. Like, it's so disgusting. He peed on television as well. And like, I am just like revolted. Like, what's wrong with this man? Like, I just want to say, I don't want to see any more Craig on my screen on the Southern Charm, or Austin, or Shep. Please fire all three of them. They are very old, very unattractive, and very terrible, like toxic males. So replace them with better human beings and more attractive guys as well. And yeah, to do a favor to the females on the cast, because they're like terrible and we don't want to see them. I don't want anything to do with them, really, frankly. Like, especially after like him peeing in the pool, that is so disgusting. I just can't. Like, anyway, so that episode, I forgot to say, episode 10 is called Two Truths and a Single Lie. So yeah, like I said, it was Itchy Grass, the name of the farm, his family farm, and it was really like huge and like such like really like beautiful, like the land and everything. And there was so many little like cottages and things like that. And like some of the people are staying, like Craig wants to stay in a tent, and I think he's got in his mind he wants to stay in the tent with the girl that he's currently pursuing, Charlie. But I don't think that's going to happen. And uh the new girls on the cast are basically in the main house, and then Venita and Madison are in a little cottage that Whitner dropped them off at, and then the boys are in a separate place. No, some of the boys are in the house as well. Yeah, and Craig wants to be in a tent, glamping. So it's all very like broken up. And there, what else happened? I'm just trying to recall. Yeah, so he's broken up with um Aubrey, and so then Madison confirms it because Sally asked Madison at the pool, and yeah, she confirms it as well that he's broken up with Aubrey, and Sally's like waiting to pounce. Basically, I'm surprised she didn't like pounce on him straight away as soon as they got to the house to Itchy Grass. So that was shocking for me, but apparently she didn't, and now she is basically in the next episode. I'm guessing, I haven't seen the preview for the next episode, but I'm guessing she's gonna be on that straight away. So, yeah, I don't think anything else happened. Craig. Also, there's this weird dungeon-looking thing in the girls' room, in the three girls that are staying together, Charlie, Molly, and Sally. And Sally's just really like trying to discourage Charlie from being with Craig, and trying to push her agenda of her not like wanting Charlie to be with Craig constantly. So that's a bit of like icky to watch as well. And also I feel like Charlie like should know better, because like she can do better than Craig, because Craig is a liar. I don't know why any of these women want to be with Craig. Like, he's looking really leathery, like, and old, and like a liar. And, you know, he shouldn't be on the show, basically. And I can't really remember what else happens in this episode, but I think next episode's going to be crazy. And I think it's super disrespectful that Austin peed in the pool at Itchy Grass. I really like that place. It looks really like interesting. They could make a little kind of like, getaway country retreat kind of thing, or Airbnb kind of, or like an experience, a glamping experience thing. I don't know what they could do with that, but it's an interesting piece of land. That's what I got from that. Anyway, like I said, fire those three, bring in fresh blood, and I don't want to see those three ever on Bravo. Ever. They're like some of the most toxic men on Bravo, so they need to go. And I think I'd like to see some of the old cast back, especially people like Naomi, maybe Chelsea, some of the crazies as well. Who is one of the most craziest people? We don't want Ravenel. We don't want Thomas Ravenel. Maybe we could have, who's the redhead? Oh my god, I can't believe I forgot who the redhead is. Who is that redhead? Catherine, that's it, Catherine. Maybe Catherine, let's get her back. I want to see what Cameron is up to these days. Cameron, and maybe. I didn't really like Olivia in the show. Let's see what Crazy Taylor's up to. And perhaps, Landon. Landon was totally crazy and obsessed with Thomas Ravenel. Why were all these women obsessed with Thomas Ravenel? Isn't he like nearly 80 now or something? I don't know what's going on with these people. And isn't he part of like Congress or something? Wasn't he running for something like that? I don't know. Anyway, 5 stars, give us 5 stars, and I will be back with another recap of something pretty soon, and hopefully the next one will be Singles Inferno with Mimi, because that's going to be a big one. Those episodes are really long, and we're going to do a lot more Korean shows, some Japanese shows, and some Chinese shows as well. Whatever we can get our hands on Netflix. Probably they're going to be mostly reality TV, and there's going to be some Korean scripted shows too. So stay tuned for all that. Subscribe, and follow us on all our socials too. Bye.